All right, so this is another video on the 85 Nighthawk I'm going to be selling. I just wanted to start off, I guess one of the big things is rust. So I don't have the full history of this bike. I do know I bought it from a Border Patrol agent out of here in Lordsburg, or down in Lordsburg. I live in Silver City, New Mexico. He was down in Lordsburg. He had been transferred out from, I believe it was Phoenix area, maybe Tucson area. And prior to that, I'd been with another Border Patrol agent in the California area. Again, it seems to me like the bike has spent its whole life in the Southwest, so rust does not seem to be an issue with it. So first thing I want to do is I've taken the key out. I just wanted to open the petcock, and this is going to be hard to see. Let me get a flashlight. Sorry about that. Right. So while I'm here, I rebuilt the clutch master cylinder and the brake master cylinder, and then put on new levers while I was at it. The original levers were just a little painted, worn through, things like that. But the main reason I built them was these sight glasses on the originals were all hazed and cracked, and I noticed that the clutch one was actually starting to dribble brake fluid onto the fuel tank, I guess with the handlebars in the full lock position. And that's part of the reason I painted the bike. Anybody familiar with these will know that the red, these are actually decals, and then they're clear coated over from the factory. Of course, I got the new decal kit, and of course they're clear coated over again when I painted the bike. But anyway, so I rebuilt both of the cylinders, and then these little glass, the sight glasses were both crazed, so those are new. I was able to source them. I think I bought 3 just in case a damaged one, so I have 1 spare after putting them in. I think these are the original mirrors. Again, they were just a little dull, so I just got a little bit of paint and painted the mirrors while I had it all apart. So, like I said, not the fanciest job, but I do believe they're original to the bike. All right, so let me get a light. Here we go, there's my light. See if we can get a better picture inside that fuel tank. All right, hopefully that helps. Again, the fuel tank, when it came apart, was really clean. When I had the tank done, there was some scratches on the top from old age. Of course, the red decals had faded in the sun. The other thing that the guy that fixed the tank for me, the only thing he found on this left side, kind of where my light is pointing right now, he said there was a small little dent, like a little hail damage dent. That was it for the tank. The rest was take it back down to the metal, clean the whole bike, primer, paint. There's a few layers of paint. I don't remember exactly how many said. The decals go on, and then there's clear coat over that. So that was the paint job. I did have a few oil leaks on it when I first got the bike. And these covers were just not out of anybody's seen, but the clear coat peels off over the years and they look kind of grungy. So while I had the bike apart, I pulled this cover off, and then while I was at it, I decided I'll put a clutch kit in it and pull this cover off because I wanted to polish this up too, this cover too. Anyway, long story, the clutches that I took out of the bike, it has 29,000 miles on, seemed to be original. I measured them against the brand new clutch pack I bought, exact same. So there was 0 wear on the clutch plates for all that. So I'm assuming the bike was pretty well maintained over its life. I seem to be the first one that went in behind the cover. So I did put the new clutch plates in, but I then put the original springs back in because the new springs that were with the clutch kit seemed stronger, and I didn't want more clutch pull than I've already got. The oil leak I found eventually was where the starter motor goes into the bolts in here. It's really easy to take out, but that O-ring was leaking and running a little bit down the engine, so it wasn't bad at all. Okay, we've talked about the exhaust. So I did, when I bought the bike from the guy out of Lordsburg, he said it had been serviced and the carburetor's rebuilt in Phoenix. or Tucson, I can't remember whichever dealership was, but done at the dealership. And that was one of the reasons I bought the bike, is it ran really well. It didn't look so good with the faded red paint, but it ran really well. So that was part of the reason I bought the bike originally. So the exhaust on this, it still has the factory mufflers in it, or well, not mufflers, that's the muffler. I think these are the spark arresters, I believe. Anyway, but they are factory to the bike, and like I said, in good shape. I did, when I put the tires on, this looks like it had brand new brakes on. They're green in color, at least the brake shoes are green in color. They look brand new to me. They went back in. Turn signals. Another reason I bought the bike is these bikes were notorious for these rubber turn signals perishing with time, especially in the sun. This bike had really good condition turn signal rubbers on it, at the front anyway, the hard to find ones. I don't know if they've been replaced sometime in its life. Front shocks. So what I did here, the bike was too soft sprung for me. Factory has these little air vents over here, and you can air them up. Well, what I did when I aired them up because it was too soft, the bike felt like a pogo stick to me. I didn't care for that, so I went ahead and bought some progressive springs. I mean, by the company Progressive, and they are progressive in nature. You know, tightly wound on one end, more open wound on the other end. And they had 3 sets for this bike. One was, I can't remember the exact numbers, but I think it was 180 pounds or lower, 180 pounds to 220 pounds, and 220 pounds and up. I think that's the numbers. Anyway, I went middle of the road. I weigh 180, call it 200 with my gear on. And so the bike, since I did that, rebuild all new seals, of course I put new bushings in as well while I had it apart, and the bike really does handle well. There's no need to put the air anymore in these shocks. Again, I think great idea, but I think it just covers up the symptom of it. So I want to just start this. Oh, I put the seat back since the first video. It's a bit of a pain. The seat on this bike was original. I believe it had the original cover on it when I took it apart, and this is something you don't see very often, the little strap that goes over. Almost every bike I've seen does not have this anymore for whatever reason. So I went through a few seat covers that I ordered, and it wasn't the most expensive and it wasn't the cheapest, but in the middle of the road I eventually found a seat cover that came in that matched almost 100% with what the original material looked like. So I was very happy about that. So this is a new seat cover, but it looks pretty original. So let's see if we can get this fired up. Not fired up. Okay, here we go. Okay. So the bike is warm. I did that long-term start a little while ago. So it's fired up. And then on the fuel gauge works. It looks like it is just above the red, so I've got it on reserve right now. What I wanted to do was just run it through the gears and show you the tachometer works and the gear position indicator works on this. Here we go. Back in neutral.